NBA YoungBoy's own real-life tank to Pooh Shiesty's insane car lineup that he'll never be able to drive again, to Young Dolph, Funny Mike, and Key Glock, plus more. These rappers didn't just buy crazy-ass whips, they built collections that are worth more than most people will ever see in a lifetime. Today we are breaking down the most expensive car collections in rap, car by car. Who spent the most, what they got, and why it matters in the culture. Real quick before we get into it, hit subscribe because this one is gonna be worth it. Let's get into it.
Man, I was flooded with millions of dollars from the time I was 16.
NBA YoungBoy's back, and he's not slowing down. After everything he's been through, the man's still out here living like royalty in the mountains of Utah. And when I say royalty, I mean it literally. This brother's got a car collection that'll make your jaw drop faster than his latest album. We're talking pink Bentleys, demon-powered muscle cars, off-road Lamborghinis, and wait for it, a literal civilian super tank. Yeah, you heard that right, a tank. Today, we're ranking every single car in NBA YoungBoy's $26 million car collection from number 10 all the way down to the absolute craziest vehicle you've ever seen. Trust me, you're gonna wanna stick around for number 1 because it's absolutely insane. Let's get into it. Coming in at number 10. We got something that'll definitely turn heads, but maybe not for the reasons YoungBoy intended. The pink Bentley Bentayga. Yeah, I said pink. Not red, not white, not even that classy champagne color. We're talking straight up Barbie pink rolling through the streets of Utah like it's a fashion statement on wheels. Now don't get me wrong, the Bentayga itself is no joke. This thing's packing a W12 engine under that hood, which means you're getting 12 cylinders of pure British luxury and power. We're talking about a 6-figure SUV that comes with all-wheel drive, so it can actually handle those snowy Utah roads when winter hits. The interior, hand-stitched leather, wood trim, and technology that'll make your smartphone jealous. But here's the thing though, it's pink, like aggressively pink. This feels more like something one of his baby mamas might have picked out during a shopping spree and he just said, forget it, I'll keep it. The Bentayga is supposed to be this sophisticated, elegant SUV that screams old money and class. But in pink, it's giving more soccer mom who won the lottery vibes than rap superstar energy. Don't get me wrong, it's still a Bentley. It's still worth more than most people's houses. And yeah, it'll float down the highway like you're riding on a cloud made of $100 bills. But compared to the absolute monsters he's got sitting in the rest of his garage, this is the one you leave parked when you really want to make a statement. 10th place for the pink Bentayga. It's luxury, but it's not legendary. Ranking number 9. Moving up to number 9, we got something that screams NBA YoungBoy's energy way more than that pink Bentley ever could. The red SRT Demon. Not just any Dodge Challenger, but the Demon. The absolute menace of American muscle cars. And let me put you on game real quick. This car is packing 1,025 horsepower from a supercharged V8 engine. That's not a typo. Over 1,000 horses ready to launch you into another dimension. We're talking 0 to 60 in less than 2 seconds. 2 seconds. That's faster than you can finish reading this sentence. This thing doesn't drive, it teleports. It's got launch control, drag radials, and it comes from the factory ready to embarrass supercars that cost 3 times as much. The Demon was literally built for one purpose, to dominate drag strips and make every other muscle car look slow. It's loud, it's aggressive, and it's got that classic American V8 rumble that'll wake up your entire neighborhood at 6 a.m. This is the kind of car you don't just drive, you unleash it. But here's the reality check. The Demon is basically allergic to anything that isn't a straight line. Curves? Forget about it. Snow and ice? You're asking for trouble. This car was designed for quarter-mile runs in perfect weather on prepped surfaces. Take this beast up a snowy mountain road in Utah, and you're gonna be sliding sideways faster than YoungBoy drops new music. Still, you can't deny the raw power and the statement it makes. This is pure American muscle with no apologies. It fits YoungBoy's wild, unpredictable energy perfectly. It's the kind of car that says, I don't care about your opinions, I'm doing me. 9th place for the Demon. It's a beast, but it's got limitations. Ranking number 8. At number 8, we're stepping into Italian territory with the dark gray Lamborghini Urus S. Now this is where things start getting serious. The Urus S is Lamborghini's answer to the luxury SUV market, and let me tell you, they didn't come to play. This thing's got 657 horsepower coming from a twin-turbo V8 engine. That's more power than most supercars had just 10 years ago, and it's sitting in an SUV. The all-wheel drive system is aggressive and intelligent, meaning it can handle pretty much any road condition you throw at it. Rain, snow, dirt roads. The Urus doesn't care. It'll grip and rip through all of it. The dark gray color YoungBoy chose. That's that villain aesthetic. It's not flashy. It's not screaming for attention, but when you see it rolling up, you know something serious just pulled up. It's got that murdered out look that says, I'm rich, but I'm also about that life. Inside, you're getting full Lamborghini treatment. Carbon fiber everywhere, digital displays, sports seats that hug you like they're trying to keep you safe at 150 miles per hour. Because let's be real, that's exactly what they're designed for. Now, the only reason this isn't higher on the list is simple. Every other rapper has one. The Urus has become the go-to SUV for anyone in the industry with money to spend. Drake's got one. Travis Scott's got one. Your favorite rapper's favorite rapper probably has one too. It's almost become the new standard, which takes away some of that exclusivity factor. But don't get it twisted. This is still an absolute monster of a vehicle. It's practical enough for daily driving, luxurious enough to impress anyone, and fast enough to embarrass sports cars at red lights. For Utah's mixed weather and mountain roads, this is actually one of the smartest picks in his collection. 8th place for the Urus S. It's elite, just not unique enough to rank higher. Ranking number 7. Coming in at number 7, we got something that looks like it was designed by NASA and wrapped by aliens. The McLaren 600LT with that insane galaxy wrap. This car is straight up art on wheels. The 600LT is McLaren's long-tail version of their 570S, which means it's lighter, more powerful, and more track-focused than the standard model. We're talking 592 horsepower from a twin-turbo V8 that sits right behind your head. The exhaust pipes, they exit at the top of the car, right behind your ears, so you can hear every single pop, crackle, and bang from that engine. It's like having a symphony of mechanical violence following you everywhere you go. But let's talk about that wrap. Galaxy print. Purple, blue, pink, stars, nebulas, the whole cosmic experience. This car looks like it could fly to another planet if you pushed it hard enough. It's the kind of wrap that makes people pull out their phones and start recording before you even drive past. It's a rolling Instagram post. McLarens are known for being absolutely insane on the track. The 600LT is lightweight, aerodynamic, and handles like it's reading your mind. The steering is so precise you could thread a needle with this thing at 100 miles per hour. But here's the catch. This is not a practical car, like, at all. It sits so low to the ground you're basically scraping on speed bumps. The suspension is stiff enough to feel every pebble on the road. And in Utah, with snow, ice, and rough winter roads, this is a garage queen. This is the car you pull out on perfect summer days when the roads are dry and you want to absolutely stunt on everyone. It's a McLaren, so it automatically gets respect. That galaxy wrap makes it one of one, but it's just not built for the environment YoungBoy lives in. 7th place for the 600LT. It's a showstopper, but it's not a daily driver. Ranking number 6. At number 6, we got another Lamborghini, but this one's screaming for attention louder than all the others. The bright green Lamborghini Huracan STO. And when I say bright green, I mean this thing glows like it's radioactive. You could probably see this car from space. The STO stands for Super Trofeo Omologata, which is Italian for we took our race car and made it street legal. This is Lamborghini's most track-focused version of the Huracan. It's lighter than the standard model because they stripped out everything that wasn't absolutely necessary. Less weight means more speed, better handling, and a driving experience that'll make your heart rate spike. Under the hood, you're getting a naturally aspirated V10 engine. No turbos, no superchargers, just pure raw engine sound that screams all the way up to 8,500 RPM. It's one of the best sounding engines ever made, period. When you start this thing up, car alarms go off, dogs start barking, babies start crying. It's that loud and that glorious. The STO is rear-wheel drive, which means all that power is going straight to the back wheels. That makes it incredibly fun to drive if you know what you're doing. But it also means it's a handful in anything less than perfect conditions. Rain, sketchy, snow, absolutely not. This car wants dry pavement and open roads where it can stretch its legs. That bright green color though, it's giving energy drink commercial vibes. It looks like it runs on Monster Energy instead of premium gas. It's loud, it's obnoxious, and it demands attention everywhere it goes. You can't be subtle in this car even if you tried. The STO is an incredible machine. It's one of the most exciting Lamborghinis you can buy, but it's not practical for Utah winters, and that color is a bit much even for someone as bold as YoungBoy. Still, you can't deny the presence. Sixth place for the Huracan STO. It's wild, but there's wilder stuff coming. Mid-roll value add, context break. Before we get into the top 5, let me give you some context about why these rankings matter, especially for someone living where NBA YoungBoy lives. Utah isn't your average place to own a supercar collection. See, Salt Lake City and the surrounding mountain areas deal with some serious weather. We're talking 4 full seasons, and winter doesn't play around. Some areas near the canyons get over 500 inches of snow per year. That's over 40 feet of snow. The roads get icy, hilly, and straight up dangerous if you're not driving the right vehicle. Most supercars are built for perfect weather and smooth roads. They sit low, they have stiff suspension, and they're usually rear-wheel drive. That's a recipe for disaster when you're dealing with black ice and snowstorms. So when you're ranking a car collection in Utah, you can't just look at horsepower and price tags. You gotta consider, can this thing actually handle the environment, or is it just gonna sit in the garage 8 months out of the year? That's why some of these upcoming cars are ranked higher than you might expect. Because YoungBoy didn't just buy cars to flex. He bought cars that can actually survive and thrive in the mountains. Now, let's get back to it. Ranking number 5. Now we're heating up. At number 5, we got the camo-wrapped Lamborghini Huracan Sterrato. And this right here, this is where YoungBoy showed he's not just buying cars for Instagram. He's actually thinking about where he lives. The Sterrato is Lamborghini's answer to a question nobody asked. What if we took a supercar and made it go off-road, and somehow they pulled it off? This thing has a lifted suspension compared to a regular Huracan. It's got off-road tires with more grip and durability. There are skid plates underneath to protect the engine and undercarriage from rocks and debris. This is a Lamborghini that can handle dirt roads, gravel, and yes, even snow. The camo wrap is perfect for this car. It's not trying to be flashy. It's trying to blend into the wilderness while still being a $500,000 Italian supercar. It's like if a special forces operator became a Lamborghini. Tactical luxury. Under all that off-road capability, you're still getting a V10 engine with over 600 horsepower. It's still fast. It still sounds incredible. But now you can actually take it places other supercars could never dream of going. Want to drive up a mountain trail? The Sterrato can do it. Want to hit some back roads in the snow? It'll handle it better than most SUVs. This is genuinely one of the smartest purchases in YoungBoy's entire collection. It's rare. Lamborghini only made a limited number of these. It's capable in ways that make sense for Utah. And it still has that exotic Italian supercar appeal. You get the flex without sacrificing functionality. 5th place for the Sterrato. This is where brains meet horsepower. Ranking number 4. At number 4, we're stepping into straight-up tank territory. Well, almost. The blacked-out Brabus Mercedes G63 4x4 squared, customized by Platinum Motorsports. This thing is an absolute monster. Let's start with the base. The Mercedes G-Wagon, already one of the toughest, most capable luxury SUVs on the planet. Then Mercedes took it and made the 4x4 squared version, which means they lifted it, gave it portal axles for even more ground clearance, threw on massive off-road tires, and basically said, let's make this thing unstoppable. Then Brabus got their hands on it. Brabus is a German tuning company that takes already insane Mercedes vehicles and turns them into absolute beasts. More power, more aggressive styling, more everything. We're talking upgraded twin-turbo V8 engine, custom exhaust, carbon fiber everywhere. And then, just to make sure it's truly one of one, Platinum Motorsports blacked out everything. The paint, the wheels, the trim, the windows. This G-Wagon looks like it's about to roll into a classified military operation. It's Darth Vader's daily driver. The 4x4 squared sits so high off the ground you practically need a ladder to get in, but that ground clearance means you can drive over anything. Snowbanks? No problem. Rocks? Easy. Fallen trees? Just drive over them. This thing is built to conquer any terrain you point it at. Inside, you're still getting full Mercedes luxury. Heated and cooled seats, premium sound system, all the technology you could want. But the vibe is different. This isn't a car for cruising to brunch. This is a vehicle for making a statement. When this pulls up, people move out of the way. For Utah's harsh winters and mountain terrain, this is probably the most practical vehicle in the entire collection. It's luxurious, it's capable, and it's intimidating as hell. 4th place for the Brabus G63 4x4 squared. This is where luxury meets military-grade toughness. Ranking number 3. Now things are getting serious. At number 3, we got pure elegance. The Rolls-Royce Phantom with that custom light green interior. This is the peak of automotive luxury. There is nothing more expensive, more exclusive, or more prestigious than a Phantom. The Phantom isn't just a car. It's a statement that you've made it to the absolute top. This is what billionaires, royalty, and heads of state drive. The starting price is over $500,000, and that's before you add any customization. And trust me, YoungBoy customized this one. That light green interior, that's not something you can just pick from a catalog. That's bespoke. That's Rolls-Royce's craftsmen hand-stitching every piece of leather to your exact specifications. The wood trim is real wood, sourced from specific trees and finished by hand. The Starlight headliner has hundreds of tiny lights embedded in the roof to look like you're driving under the night sky. The Phantom is powered by a V12 engine, but you barely hear it. The cabin is so well insulated that Rolls-Royce engineers said the loudest sound inside the car is the clock ticking. It's that quiet. The ride is so smooth you could balance a champagne glass on the dashboard and not spill a drop, even on rough roads. Now, the Phantom is rear-wheel drive, which means it's not ideal for heavy snow. But Rolls-Royce equips these with every winter-ready feature you could imagine. Heated everything, advanced traction control. And honestly, when you're in a Phantom, you're not worried about the weather. You're worried about arriving in style. This is the car YoungBoy hops in when he wants to remind everyone that he's not just a rapper, he's a mogul. He's generational wealth on wheels. Third place for the Phantom. This is elegance personified. Ranking number 2. Coming in at number 2, we got the crown jewel of Lamborghini's lineup, the dark orange Lamborghini Aventador SVJ. This is the final boss of naturally aspirated supercars. The SVJ stands for Super Veloci Hoda, which is Lamborghini's way of saying, we made the Aventador as extreme as physically possible. This thing has over 770 horsepower coming from a naturally aspirated V12 engine. No turbos, no electric motors, just 12 cylinders screaming at over 8,000 RPM, creating one of the most incredible sounds ever produced by a machine. The SVJ has active aerodynamics, which means the car adjusts its wings and flaps in real time to maximize downforce and stability. It's got four-wheel steering, so the back wheels turn slightly to help with cornering. The entire body is made from carbon fiber to keep weight down. This car is a technological masterpiece. That dark orange color is called Arancio Atlas, and it's one of Lamborghini's most iconic shades. It's not too bright, not too subtle. It's aggressive without being obnoxious. It's the perfect color for what is essentially a street-legal race car. The SVJ was a limited production car. Lamborghini only made a certain number of them, and they sold out immediately. Owning one means you're part of an extremely exclusive club. This isn't just a Lamborghini, this is the Lamborghini, the final evolution of the Aventador before they moved on to hybrid powertrains. Is it practical for Utah? Absolutely not. This car hates snow, hates rough roads, and hates anything that isn't a perfectly smooth racetrack. But does YoungBoy care? Not even a little bit. This is the car you pull out on perfect summer days when you want to remind the world who you are. Second place for the Aventador SVJ. This is automotive royalty, but there's still one vehicle that tops it. Ranking number 1, the throne. Finally, number 1, the absolute king of NBA YoungBoy's collection. The vehicle that makes everything else look normal. The Ripsaw EV3, the civilian super tank. Yeah, you heard me right, a tank. Well, technically it's a high-performance tracked luxury vehicle, but let's be real, it's a tank. And it's the most insane thing YoungBoy could have possibly bought. The Ripsaw is made by How and How Technologies in the USA. It's not a military vehicle. It doesn't have guns, cannons, or missiles. Civilian Ripsaws are completely unarmed. But it looks like a tank, it moves like a tank, and it'll go places that would destroy literally every other vehicle on this list. This thing runs on dual rubber tracks instead of wheels. That means it can handle snow, mud, sand, rocks, swamps, literally any terrain you can imagine. The suspension has long travel, so it can absorb massive bumps and jumps without breaking. It's powered by a high-output V8 engine with enormous torque, giving it the power to climb over obstacles that would stop a normal vehicle dead in its tracks. Now, you might think a tank would be slow. Wrong. The Ripsaw can hit 50 to 60 miles per hour, which is extremely fast for a tracked vehicle. Military tanks usually top out around 30 to 40 miles per hour, so this thing is quick, agile, and unstoppable. The Ripsaw represents everything about NBA YoungBoy's mentality. He doesn't do things halfway. He doesn't care about what's normal or expected. He wants the wildest, most extreme option available, and he's got the money to make it happen. Now let me know in the comments, which one are you taking if you could only pick one? Are you going with the elegance of the Phantom, the raw power of the SVJ, or are you going full send with the Ripsaw tank? Drop your answers below.
Pooh Shiesty, fresh on from jail. Let's show you how he doing it. Maybach, you see that? Huh? You see the Maybach? Come here, man. Ferrari, man. You see that? Everything rose gold like that motherfucking, you see me? Everything rose gold, nigga. Everything. Everything rose gold. Yeah. Yeah.
What the fuck going on?
Everything rose gold. You hear me?
All this shit, man. We don't play fair, man.
The Ferrari,
We do not
man.
play fair, man.
Huh?
You niggas in trouble, man.
October 6, 2025. After nearly 4 years locked behind federal walls, Lontrell Donnell Williams Jr. walked out of a halfway house as a free man. No fanfare, no red carpet, just Memphis air and the weight of everything he built before they took him away. And the first thing people wanted to know? The cars. Because when you come from where Pooh Shiesty came from, South Memphis, Cane Creek Apartments, hand-me-down everything, pulling up in a rose gold Maybach isn't just flexing. It's a statement. Today, we're breaking down every car in Pooh Shiesty's garage, where they came from, what they cost, what they mean, and why. For a kid from the south side of Memphis, these machines represent something way deeper than just a price tag. And the rose gold? We'll get to that too. Because that's not just a color choice, that's a philosophy. Let's ride. To understand the cars, you have to understand the man behind the wheel. Memphis, Tennessee, one of the most musically rich and economically divided cities in America, home to blues royalty, soul legends, and a trap scene that's been bubbling since before most of us knew what trap was. 3-6 Mafia put it on the map. Yo Gotti carried the flag. And somewhere in the Cane Creek Apartments on the south side, a kid named Lontrell was watching all of it, absorbing every bar, every beat, every come-up story. Born November 8, 1990, Pooh Shiesty wasn't raised in a vacuum. Music was literally in his bloodline. His father, known around Memphis as Mob Boss, was a rapper himself and founded Mob Ties Records. So while other kids were just listening to music, little Lontrell was in the studio watching his dad work, watching how words became records, watching how records could become a way out. But the come-up wasn't easy. It never is when you're from where he's from. The family relocated to Pflugerville, Texas for a couple of years, a quiet suburb outside Austin that couldn't have been more different from South Memphis. He had to adapt fast. New city, new faces, new dynamics. That kind of experience either breaks you or builds something in you. For Shiesty, it built perspective. It built hunger. When his mother brought the family back to Memphis, Lontrell made a deal with himself. Head down, finish school, then go all in on music. He attended summer school and online classes to get his diploma, and the moment that was done, he picked up the mic and never put it down. He was 18 years old, and the clock had started. He launched his own crew, Choppa Gang, and started freestyling everywhere. School lunchrooms, neighborhood blocks, anywhere there was an ear to listen. His early singles, Hell Night with his day one brother Big 3-0, Shiesty Summer, Choppa Talk, these weren't industry records. They were raw, unfiltered Memphis storytelling posted on YouTube and SoundCloud with no label backing, nobody pushing the button except him. And they popped. Shiesty Summer crossed 1 million views independently. Hell Night hit 6 million. This was organic heat, real people sharing real music because it sounded real, because it was real. Then came the moment that changed everything. April 2020, Gucci Mane, one of Atlanta's most legendary figures in trap music, slid into Pooh Shiesty's Instagram DMs after watching Mane Slime on YouTube. The message was simple. What's up, homie? I'm listening to your stuff. You're hard. Are you signed? Shiesty thought it was fake at first. A spam account, another clout chaser. It wasn't. The two FaceTimed for hours. By the end of it, Pooh Shiesty was signed to the new 1017 Records under Atlantic Records. In a matter of weeks, the Southside kid from Cane Creek had a major label deal, one of rap's most respected cosigns, and a platform the whole country could see. He didn't waste it. Back in Blood, featuring Lil Durk, dropped in 2000 and became a cultural phenomenon, going platinum within 4 months, peaking at number 13 on the Billboard Hot 100, hitting number 1 on Apple Music across all genres. The music video crossed 125 million views in under 4 months on YouTube. Then, Beatbox by Spodum Got 'Em. Shiesty hopped on the remix and it peaked at number 12 on the Hot 100, his highest charting record to date. In February 2001, Shiesty Season, his debut mixtape, debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200 and number 1 on Billboard's top rap albums. At 21 years years old, from zero to the top 3 in America in under 3 years. But right at the peak of everything, the road turned. In 2001, Pooh Shiesty was caught up in federal firearms conspiracy charges connected to a 22,000 shooting incident in Bay Harbor Islands, Florida. In January 2002, he pleaded guilty. In April 2002, he was sentenced to 5 years and 3 months in federal prison. He was 22 years old. At the exact moment his career was at its highest, he was gone. The car sat in the garage. The music went on pause. Memphis waited. October 2025, nearly 4 years later, Pooh Shiesty stepped out, and almost immediately the internet got a glimpse of what had been sitting, waiting, collecting dust while he was away. His first Instagram story after release? A walkthrough of the garage. No caption needed. The camera panned across 6 rose gold machines, every single car wrapped in the same blush metallic finish, a matching fleet so distinct, so deliberate that it stopped the internet cold. This wasn't random. This was a vision, and everything in that garage was part of it. He could be heard saying, "She been collecting dust, man. We don't ride with no tag. I am CEO." Because that's exactly what it felt like. A CEO returning to his company after a forced leave of absence. The business was still running. The assets were still there. And now the boss was back. So let's do what we came to do. 6 cars, 6 stories, 1 rose gold garage that the south side of Memphis built. We start here, because this car has the most history in the whole collection. Before the rose gold era, before the matching fleet, before the Maybach, before any of it, there was the McLaren. And this car is famous for more than just its specs. Cast your mind back to 2020. Pooh Shiesty is at the height of his early buzz, rolling through Florida in a lime green McLaren, one of the most eye-catching machines on the road. The kind of car that people remember seeing, the kind of car that shows up in court documents. And it did. His own defense attorney referenced it in federal filings, arguing that a man who was driving a car worth over $200,000 wouldn't risk everything over a petty situation. The lime green McLaren became a symbol of the whole era, the peak moment right before everything changed. Shiesty even put it in his music, rapping about his slimeball-coated McLaren and pushing it to see how fast it could go. That car became part of the mythology. Fast forward to the rose gold era, and the McLaren got a new coat. Same energy, new identity, wrapped in that signature blush metallic to match the rest of the fleet. Now, McLaren makes some of the most technically impressive cars on the planet. British engineering, Formula One DNA, carbon fiber everywhere. Depending on the model, whether it's a 570S, a 720S, or something from the GT lineup, you're looking at anywhere from $200,000 to well over $300,000. Mid-engine layouts, twin-turbo V8s producing anywhere from 562 to over 700 horsepower, and a driving experience so raw it makes most supercars feel tame. The McLaren in Pooh Shiesty's garage isn't just the most exciting car in the collection. It's the one that was there from the beginning, the one that survived the whole story. That makes it the most important car in the garage. If the McLaren is the most important car in the collection, the Mercedes Maybach S680 is the most expensive. And it's not even close. Let's be clear about what a Maybach is. This is not just a Mercedes-Benz. The Maybach sub-brand sits above the S-Class, which is already one of the most luxurious production cars on Earth, and takes everything to an entirely different level. Extended wheelbase, rear seat entertainment screens, individual reclining rear seats that go nearly flat, a glass panoramic roof, a fully handcrafted interior where even the stitching patterns are deliberate, a twin turbocharged V12 engine producing 621 horsepower that moves this enormous car with a silence and smoothness that feels almost supernatural. Base price on a new Mercedes Maybach S680, around $200,000. But Pooh Shiesty's version is the 2026 model, reported to have cost in the region of $500,000 when fully spec'd and wrapped, $500,000. And the occasion for buying it? FDO hitting #1 on Billboard's Hot R&B/hip-hop songs chart after his release. Think about that for a second. The man came home from federal prison, dropped a record, hit #1 on Billboard, and bought a $500,000 Maybach to celebrate. In rose gold, of course. That is one of the most Pooh Shiesty things that has ever happened. The Maybach is the car you buy when you've transcended rapper with money and entered a different conversation entirely. This is old world European luxury that heads of state ride in, that Fortune 500 CEOs are chauffeured around in. For a kid from South Memphis public housing to pull up in one at 25 years old, fresh out of a federal bid, is one of the most remarkable flexes in recent rap history, and it's wrapped in rose gold. Because of course it is. Every car collection has a story behind it, but not every car in a collection has a story as good as this one. The Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk in Pooh Shiesty's garage? He didn't buy it. It was a gift from Gucci's own birthday. Let that marinate. Gucci Mane, on his own birthday celebration, pulled up and surprised Pooh Shiesty with a Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. That is a level of love and loyalty in this industry that you simply do not see very often. Most artists sign with a label get a little shine, and that's where the relationship ends. Gucci Mane gave his artist a supercharged SUV as a surprise gift on a night that was supposed to be about him. That tells you everything about the bond between these two. Now let's talk about what the Trackhawk actually is, because it deserves its own respect separate from the story. The Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk is one of the most absurd vehicles ever produced by an American manufacturer. Jeep took a family SUV and dropped a 707 horsepower supercharged 6.2-liter Hemi V8 into it, the same engine found in the Dodge Charger Hellcat. The result is an SUV that does 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds and runs a quarter mile in the low 11-second range. It can tow a boat and embarrass a Porsche at the same traffic light. It is completely, beautifully unhinged. Starting around $90,000 new, the Trackhawk is the kind of vehicle that people who know cars absolutely love and people who don't know cars can't believe exists. And in rose gold, with that stance and that power sitting underneath it, this might be the most underrated car in the whole collection. The McLaren gets the headlines, the Maybach gets the gasps. But the Trackhawk, the one Gucci Mane gifted him, that one carries a weight that money alone couldn't buy. Now we get to the crown jewel of the SUV segment, the Lamborghini Urus. You want to talk about a car that defined an era of rap car culture? The Urus is it. When Lamborghini announced they were building an SUV, purists lost their minds. A Lamborghini SUV? It sounded like a betrayal of everything the brand stood for. And then they drove it, and the conversation changed immediately. Twin turbocharged 4.0-liter V8. 641 horsepower in standard trim, 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. Top speed just over 190 miles per hour. In an SUV, built on a platform that's more advanced than most supercars from a decade ago, with Lamborghini's aggressive design language stretched over a body that can actually carry passengers comfortably and fit real luggage in the back. Base price? Around $230,000. And that's before the option sheet, before the customization, and definitely before the rose gold wrap that ties it to everything else in Pooh Shiesty's garage. The Urus became the car of a specific generation of artists, not the Bugatti that veterans flex. The Urus is younger energy, more aggressive. It says I made it and I'm still moving at the same time. For Pooh Shiesty, whose entire identity is built around being simultaneously calculated and dangerous, refined and raw, the Urus fits perfectly. It's the Italian exotic that doesn't sacrifice practicality. It's the supercar you can actually live with. And in rose gold, it's one of the most visually striking things you'll see in any garage anywhere in the world. Here's where Pooh Shiesty's collection does something that almost nobody else's does. He's not just buying the past, he's buying the future. The Tesla Cybertruck. When Elon Musk unveiled the Cybertruck in 2019, the internet exploded. It looked like a vehicle from a science fiction movie. All sharp angles, flat panels, and a stainless steel exoskeleton that looks like it was cut with scissors. It was so different, so polarizing, that people either loved it completely or dismissed it as a joke. Then it started delivering, and the joke stopped. The dual-motor Cybertruck produces around 600 horsepower and does 0 to 60 in under 4.5 seconds. The tri-motor Cyberbeast version, 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds, in a truck, with a stainless steel body that can reportedly handle a 9 mmR round without penetrating the exterior panels. Starting around $80,000 to $100,000 depending on trim, the Cybertruck became one of the most sought-after and hard-to-get vehicles in America, with waitlists stretching years. Now here's the thing about wrapping a Cybertruck in rose gold. It shouldn't work. The vehicle was literally designed around its raw stainless steel finish. Wrapping it is almost counter to the whole aesthetic. But that's exactly why it works for Pooh Shiesty. He takes something that already makes a statement and makes an even bigger one. The Cybertruck in rose gold says, I don't follow your rules about how things are supposed to look. I have a vision, and everything in my world fits that vision. The Cybertruck is also the most culturally significant car in the garage from a timeline perspective. You can't own one of these and be stuck in the past. This is a car that says the next chapter is going to look different from everything that came before it. And for a man who just came home from federal prison with a #1 record and a $500,000 Maybach, the next chapter already looks very, very different. 6 cars, all rose gold, all different, all Pooh Shiesty. Let's take one more look at what this collection represents from a number standpoint, because we want to give you the real picture, not the inflated internet version. The McLaren, conservatively $200,000 to $300,000 depending on model. The Maybach S600, and reported at around $500,000. The Trackhawk, $90,000 to $110,000. The Lamborghini Urus, $230,000 to $270,000. The Tesla Cybertruck, $80,000 to $100,000. And all of them, every single one, wrapped in a professional rose gold vinyl that easily runs $5,000 to $15,000 per vehicle for a quality job. Before modifications, custom rims, and any additional performance work, you're looking at a collection worth somewhere between $1.1 million and $1.3 million, possibly more. Absolutely. And that's not a small thing. Before we wrap this up, we have to talk about the rose gold itself, because it's not an accident. Nothing about Pooh Shiesty's aesthetic is accidental. Rose gold as a color sits in a very specific space. It's not the classic black or white that signals understated luxury. It's not the loud chrome or candy paint of old-school rap excess. Rose gold is warm. It's bold, but it's not aggressive. It's expensive without being obvious about it. It's the color of jewelry, specifically the kind of jewelry that people who really have money wear. When you wrap your entire fleet in rose gold, you're saying something very deliberate. You're saying, I have a vision and everything in my world fits inside it. You're saying, this isn't random, this is curated. And that's the thing about Pooh Shiesty that casual observers miss. He's not just a rapper with cars, he's a curator. From the Shiesty mask that became a fashion statement before it became a meme, to the music videos that feel like short films, to a garage where 6 completely different vehicles, a British supercar, a German ultra-luxury sedan, a Jeep, an Italian SUV, an American electric truck, all exist in perfect visual harmony because of one rose gold decision. That's a creative mind at work. That's someone who thinks in brand. And when you think in brand, you don't just build a car collection. You build an icon. Here's the thing about Pooh Shiesty's car collection that most people miss when they're busy counting commas. These aren't just cars, they're a timeline. The McLaren is 2020, the lime green era. The breakout, back in blood. The come-up that felt like it happened overnight but took years of grinding to build. The car that was literally referenced in federal court because it was so unforgettable. The Trackhawk is the brotherhood. Gucci Mane's birthday surprise. A gesture that cemented one of the most genuine artist-mentor relationships in recent rap history. That car can't be bought, it was given. The Lamborghini Urus is the ambition, always reaching higher. Never satisfied with what's already in the garage when there's still room for something extraordinary. The Cybertruck is the future proof that Pooh Shiesty isn't looking backward. He's already thinking about what comes next, what the next chapter looks like, how the story evolves. And the Maybach, the $500,000 rose gold Maybach S, 680 that he bought to celebrate his first #1 after coming home from prison. That's the statement that ends the argument. That's the car that says, they couldn't stop me. 3 years couldn't stop me. Federal charges couldn't stop me. I came home, dropped a record, hit Billboard #1, and pulled up in a $500,000 Maybach. On the south side of Memphis, they used to ask me what I was gonna be. This is what I became. Pooh Shiesty is 25 years old. He's already served federal time, topped the Billboard charts, gifted the internet a rose gold garage reveal that broke the culture for a week, and come home to a city that never stopped claiming him. His fan base never left. His music never stopped streaming. That rose gold fleet never stopped existing. It just waited. The next chapter, the music he makes now on the other side of everything he's been through, is going to be something completely different. Because the man who walked into that federal sentence and the man who walked out of it are not the same person. The hunger is sharper, the focus is tighter, and the garage is still full. 6 rose gold machines, 6 chapters of a story that's still being written. That's not a car collection. That's a legacy with horsepower.
By the title of this video, I already know y'all know what's gonna go down.
What if I told you that a kid from Baton Rouge went from having $37 in his bank account to being able to do whatever the fuck he wants whenever he wants, and also spending M's on a whips in just 3 years? Funny Mike's transformation from broke comedian to multimillionaire is absolutely mind-blowing, and the way he spends his millions and lives this crazy lifestyle will shock you.
Check it out,
Hey, how much this going for?
24,000.
24,000?
Yeah.
Oh, hell no, son. Wait.
Man, he giving me a deal, man. They usually go for like 50K.
Y'all know I always bring y'all the best content on this app, so y'all better subscribe and hit that fucking like button, cause Rap Thread is your #1 go-to for all the rap and content. Stay until the end, cause I'm about to show y'all exactly how much this man makes per month, and yes, I pocket watch. That's the only way for me to bring y'all a banger videos like this. Let me break down where Buddy actually came from, because I can't lie, his story low-key interesting. Funny Mike, real name MacArthur Johnson, grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana with basically nothing. This dude was struggling hard in the beginning. Born in 1996, Mike was just another kid from the hood trying to figure out life. His childhood wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. We talking about a YN who had to hustle from day one just to survive. Baton Rouge ain't exactly known for handing out opportunities, and Mike knew he had to create his own path. This is where legends are born, in the struggle. But here's where it gets crazy. Even as a kid, Mike had this natural ability to make people laugh. Like, this man could walk into any room and have everyone cracking up within minutes. His family and friends always knew he had something special, but nobody could predict just how far that talent would take him. So get this, before Funny Mike became the comedy king we know today, this man had his sights set on becoming the next big rapper. I kid you not, Mike was dead serious about making it in the rap game, but nobody took his goofy ass serious. He was out here writing weak-ass bars, trying to get his music heard by anyone who would listen. And I'm not even lying when I say he was putting in work. Late nights in the studio, performing at local venues, doing everything a young rapper does to try and make it. But here's the thing about the music industry. It's brutal. For every success story, there's thousands of talented artists who never make it past their hometown. Mike was grinding hard, but the breakthrough just wasn't happening the way he wanted it to. The rap game is oversaturated, and standing out requires more than just talent. You need connections, timing, and sometimes just pure luck. And this is where it gets insane. What if I told you that Funny Mike's first taste of viral fame came from impersonating 21 Savage? That's actually crazy when you think about it. So Mike is struggling with his rap career, right? But he's got this incredible talent for mimicking voices and mannerisms. One day, he decides to do this spot-on impersonation of 21 Savage, and the internet went absolutely wild. We're talking millions of views, shares, comments, the whole 9 yards. People couldn't believe how accurate his impression was. He had 21 Savage's voice down to a T, the facial expressions, the way he moved, everything was perfect. This impersonation didn't just get him views though, it opened doors. Suddenly, people in the entertainment industry were paying attention to this young man from Baton Rouge who could transform into other celebrities flawlessly.
Everybody wants to talk about the 22 Savage thing. How did all that come about?
This just come back to me rapping and doing comedy at the same time, you know what I'm saying? So I was entwining shit parodies or whatever. Then people like, yeah man, you should rap for real. Whoop, whoop. That's when I came with that line, this ain't 21, this 22, and people start catching on to it. So I say, I'm 22 Savage, jumped in the rap game.
But if you think that's where the story ends, you're dead wrong. And here's where Mike made the smartest decision of his life. Let me break it down for you. Instead of trying to ride the impersonation wave forever, Mike realized his true calling was comedy. This man said, you know what? I'm naturally funny. People love laughing at my content. Why am I fighting against my own strengths? So he pivoted hard into comedy content, and it was like watching a rocket ship take off. Mike started creating original comedy skits, characters, and content that had people dying laughing. His comedy wasn't just random jokes either. This man was creating relatable content that spoke to his audience. He understood what made people tick, what situations they found themselves in, and he turned everyday experiences into comedy gold.
After rapping wasn't taking off for me, you know what I'm saying? I started then and try to see what can I, get out of it, you know what I'm saying? But then shit just started going up, you know what I'm saying?
So you get in the Instagram comedian thing, right? And one situation took off, on the Instagram.
Within months of focusing on comedy, Mike's following started exploding. We're talking hundreds of thousands of new followers, millions of views per video, and brand deals starting to roll in. But wait, because this is where the money talk gets really interesting. What if I told you that even in his early comedy days, Funny Mike was already pulling in serious cash? This man was making more money from comedy in his first year than most people make in 5. We're talking about $10,000 to $20,000 per month just from social media monetization, brand partnerships, and sponsored content. For a YN who grew up with nothing, this was life-changing money. But Mike wasn't just making money, he was smart with it. Instead of blowing it all on random stuff, he was reinvesting in his content, upgrading his equipment, and building his brand. That's actually insane when you think about how many young creators just waste their first big paychecks. His comedy skits were getting so popular that other influencers and celebrities started reaching out for collaborations. Each collaboration meant more exposure, more followers, and more money in the bank. And this is where it gets absolutely wild. So get this, Mike realizes that while he's killing it on Instagram and other platforms, YouTube is where the real money is. This man said, I'm about to take over the biggest video platform in the world. When Mike started taking YouTube seriously, it was like watching a masterclass in content creation. He wasn't just uploading random videos, he was creating series, developing characters, and building a YouTube empire.
What's up, AKG? It's your boy Funny Mike. You tune in today's vlog, and I know y'all probably like, wait, Funny Mike ain't post yesterday. What happened? Did the killer clowns come and kill him? No, you guys, check this out, man. Today we're setting off on a mission to go and kidnap a killer clown.
His YouTube channel started pulling in millions of views per video, and you know what that means. Serious ad revenue. We're talking about $50,000 to $100,000 per month just from YouTube monetization alone. But here's where it gets crazy. YouTube wasn't just paying him through ads. The platform opened up opportunities for merchandise sales, exclusive brand deals, and even his own product lines. I'm not even lying when I say that YouTube transformed Mike from a successful social media creator into a legitimate multi-millionaire. The man went from making thousands to making millions, and it all happened because he understood the power of long-form content. But let me tell you what this man did with all that money, because it's insane. What if I told you that Funny Mike's garage looks like a luxury car dealership? Word to my mother, this man's car collection is absolutely ridiculous. We're talking about multiple Lamborghinis, and not just any Lambos, but the top-tier models that cost more than most people's houses. His Lamborghini Urus alone is worth over $200,000, and that's just one car in his collection. But wait, it gets crazier. Mike also owns a McLaren that cost him close to $300,000. This man is out here collecting supercars like they're Pokemon cards, and don't even get me started on his custom wraps and modifications. Each car is personalized with unique colors, custom interiors, and performance upgrades that add tens of thousands to their value. When you're making millions, why not drive like a millionaire? Mike earned every single one of those cars through his hustle and talent. And if you think the cars are expensive, wait until you hear about his jewelry game. Let me break it down for you. Funny Mike doesn't just buy jewelry from anywhere. This man goes straight to Johnny Dang, the most expensive and exclusive jeweler in the game. For those who don't know, Johnny Dang is the jeweler for celebrities, rappers, and millionaires. We're talking about custom pieces that cost more than luxury cars. And Mike is a regular customer. His chain collection alone is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Custom pendants, diamond-encrusted watches, rings that could blind you from across the room.
Again, welcome to Flawless Game, top and bottom, 10 top, 10 bottom, big money only, man. Diamond Boy! You already know. Yeah!
This man's jewelry game is absolutely insane. But here's what's crazy. Mike doesn't just buy jewelry to flex. Each piece tells a story about his journey, his success, and his brand. That's actually genius when you think about it. Johnny Dang has created custom pieces specifically for Mike that you literally cannot buy anywhere else. We're talking about one-of-a-kind jewelry that represents his unique personality and success story. But wait, because his spending doesn't stop at cars and jewelry, what if I told you that Funny Mike spends more on clothes in a month than most people make in a year? No cap, this man's wardrobe is worth more than some people's entire net worth. We're talking about designer everything. Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Balenciaga, Off-White. If it's expensive and exclusive, Mike probably owns it. His closet looks like a high-end boutique. But here's where it gets insane. Mike doesn't just buy clothes off the rack. He's getting custom pieces made, limited edition drops, and exclusive collaborations that aren't available to the general public. His shoe collection alone could fund a small business. We're talking about rare Jordans, limited edition Yeezys, and custom designer shoes that cost thousands per pair. This is what happens when you turn your natural talent into a multi-million-dollar empire. And let me tell you about his vacation game, because it's ridiculous.
Man, Jaleel's packing the kids' suitcases right now. Hey, we going to Volcano Bay, what up? Yeah!
So get this. When Funny Mike takes a vacation, he doesn't just book a regular hotel room. This man is renting out entire luxury villas, private jets, and exclusive resorts that cost more per night than most people's monthly rent. We're talking about $10,000 per night accommodations, private chefs, personal security, and experiences that money literally can't buy for regular people. His vacation photos look like scenes from a movie. But here's what's crazy. These aren't just vacations for Mike. They're content opportunities. He's creating videos, taking photos, and building his brand even while he's relaxing. That's actually insane business sense.
Bro, you put your face on it. Man, why would you put my face on it? Man, come on, how you doing that, man?
His trips to Dubai, Los Angeles, Miami, and other luxury destinations aren't just about spending money. They're investments in his image and brand that pay dividends through increased followers and engagement. But let me paint the full picture of how his lifestyle completely transformed. What if I told you that Funny Mike went from sharing a small apartment to owning multiple luxury properties? This transformation is absolutely mind-blowing. His main residence is a mansion that looks like something out of a celebrity magazine. We're talking about multiple bedrooms, a home theater, a professional recording studio, and amenities that most people only dream about. But it's not just about the material things. Mike's entire daily routine changed. He went from worrying about paying bills to having a team of people managing his business empire. Personal trainers, chefs, assistants, managers, accountants. This man has an entire staff helping him maintain his lifestyle and grow his wealth. That's actually crazy when you think about where he started. His social circle completely transformed too. He's now friends with other millionaire creators, celebrities, and business moguls. The networking opportunities alone are worth millions. And here's the most insane part about his current situation. Let me break it down for you one final time. Funny Mike isn't just rich. He's built a sustainable business empire that continues growing every single day. His YouTube channel generates millions of views monthly, his merchandise line sells out regularly, and his brand partnerships are worth more than most people's annual salaries. We're talking about a multi-million-dollar business that he built from absolutely nothing. But here's what's actually insane. Mike is still hungry. Even with all this success, he's constantly creating new content, exploring new business opportunities, and finding ways to connect with his audience. His influence extends beyond just entertainment now. He's inspiring young creators, showing people from similar backgrounds that success is possible, and proving that talent combined with hard work can literally change your entire life. And that's how Funny Mike transformed from a struggling kid in Baton Rouge to a multi-millionaire lifestyle that most people can only dream about. From failed rap dreams to comedy gold, from impersonating 21 Savage to building his own empire, this man's journey is absolutely insane. But if you learned something new about Funny Mike's lifestyle, you gotta smash that like button and let me know in the comments which part of his story shocked you the most. And if you want more content breaking down how your favorite creators and rappers built their empires from nothing, make sure you subscribe because I've got some wild stories coming up that are gonna blow your mind. I'll catch you in the next one where we're diving into another creator's journey from broke to multi-millionaire. Peace. Key Glock owns over 16 cars, a Rolls-Royce Cullinan, a Rolls-Royce Dawn, a Lamborghini Urus with butterfly doors, 2 McLarens, a Ferrari Purosangue, 3 Mercedes Maybachs, a Dodge Durango SRT Hellcat, a Dodge SRT Demon, a Corvette C8 Stingray, a Tesla Cybertruck, a 1996 Chevy Impala SS on 24-inch IROC rims, a Dodge Ram TRX, and the car that started everything was a Mercedes SL550 that young Dolph himself gifted him before he died. 16 plus vehicles. The whole fleet is now estimated between $4 million and $5 million. We are talking about a man from South Memphis, a man who grew up with his grandmother and aunt while his mother was in federal prison, who now has a garage worth more than most people will ever earn in a lifetime. And here's the thing that separates this collection from every other rapper garage you've ever seen. It's not just about the money. Key Glock built his entire identity around the color yellow, wrapped his whole fleet in it, named his albums after it, built his brand around it, and then, just when everybody thought they had him figured out, he flipped the whole collection into something called Mystic Chrome, a color-shifting chameleon finish that changes depending on the light and the angle. He didn't just buy cars, he built a world, and then he rebuilt it. This is the story of the most intentional, most calculated, most jaw-dropping car collection in hip-hop right now. Car by car, story by story. Because there are layers to this that most people are not talking about, and y'all need to hear this. To understand why a car collection worth $4 to $5 million hits differently coming from Key Glock specifically, you need to understand where he came from and what he was building toward before he ever sat in a Rolls Royce. Markevius LaShun Cathy was born August 3, 1997 in South Memphis, Tennessee. Not the Memphis of the tourist strip, not Beale Street. South Memphis. The part of the city that shapes you whether you want it to or not. The part that grinds you down and forces you to figure out who you're gonna be real fast. He grew up listening to Gucci Mane, Lil Wayne, 3 6 Mafia, Project Pat, the architects of Southern Street Rap, the artists who took the reality of the block and turned it into something undeniable. That DNA is in everything Glock does, including how he moves with his cars. Here's the part that a lot of people don't know. Fam, Key Glock grew up with his grandmother and his aunt because his mother was in federal prison for most of his childhood. Let that land for a second. While other kids were growing up with both parents in the house, Glock was learning how to navigate the world with the family he had in one of the hardest cities in America. That backstory matters when you see him pull up in a $400,000 Rolls-Royce Cullinan. That's not a flex for the gram. That's a man putting distance between himself and where he started. In 2016, he dropped his debut mixtape, Whole Lotta Everything. Low budget, raw, Memphis through and through. But the real turning point came in 2017 when his cousin, Adolph Robert Thornton Jr., the one and only Young Dolph, signed him to Paper Route Empire. Now here's where the Yellow story actually starts. Dolph was already an established name in Memphis rap, and he had a certain energy around him. Independent, unapologetic, flashy but not fake, rich off his own effort. Key Glock studied that. He absorbed it, and when he came into his own, he didn't copy Dolph's aesthetic. He found his own version of that same energy, and his version was yellow, every shade of it. His 2017 mixtape Glock Season put him on the radar. His debut studio album Yellow Tape in 2020 peaked at number 14 on the Billboard 200 and went gold. Yellow Tape 2 in 2021 went even harder, peaked at number 7 on the Billboard 200. And if you're wondering why an album called Yellow Tape has that name, in an interview, Glock broke it down simply. When you see yellow tape, what do you see? Caution, or there's always something going on or about to happen. That's the mindset. Yellow isn't just a color. Yellow is a warning. Yellow is a statement. Yellow is pay attention because something is happening. And when you see millions worth of machinery rolling down the street, gang, something is happening. Now let me break down the actual fleet because this is where it gets crazy. Each one of these cars tells a story on its own. Together, they tell the whole story. As of mid-2026, we are talking about 16 plus vehicles across every category. Supercars, luxury SUVs, sedans, convertibles, muscle, American classics, electric. Let me run through all of them. The Mercedes SL550, where it all began. Before we get to the Rolls-Royces and the McLarens, we have to start here. The Mercedes SL550. This is the car that Young Dolph gifted to Key Glock, his cousin, his mentor, the man who signed him, believed in him, put him on, and then was taken from him in November 2021 when he was shot and killed in broad daylight in Memphis. The SL550 is a luxury Grand Tourer convertible. Not the most expensive car in the fleet, not the fastest, not the most exotic, but it is the most important. It is the car that carries the most weight. Every time Glock walks past that car in his garage, it's a reminder of where he came from and who got him there. No amount of McLarens or Ferraris can replace what that car represents. It's sacred. And the fact that it's still in the collection, that it wasn't flipped or traded or upgraded, tells you exactly the kind of man Key Glock is. The Rolls-Royce Cullinan, the crown jewel. Now let's talk crown jewel. Key Glock owns a Rolls-Royce Cullinan, custom yellow paint, sitting on black custom Forgiato Designs alloy wheels. The most luxurious production SUV in the world, traditionally built for heads of state and billionaire businessmen, wrapped in screaming yellow with aftermarket forged wheels. The Cullinan runs a 6.75-liter V12 engine putting out 563 horsepower, 850 Newton-meters of torque. The base price sits north of $350,000. With the custom yellow finish and the Forgiatos, we're pushing close to $400,000 on this one vehicle alone. And here's what makes it even more loaded. After Dolph was killed, Key Glock posted his tribute on social media in yellow, standing next to this exact Cullinan. The car became a symbol of grief, of loyalty, of honoring someone who helped him build everything. That image spread everywhere. The streets recognized it for exactly what it was. The Cullinan isn't just the most expensive car in the collection. It's the one that carries the most public meaning. The Rolls-Royce Dawn, blue on the fleet. People sleep on this one, but it matters. The Rolls-Royce Dawn, a blue luxury convertible. Now, blue in a collection that's been defined by yellow, that's intentional. That's Glock showing range. The Dawn is widely regarded as one of the most beautiful convertibles ever built. A handcrafted soft top that closes whisper quiet in 22 seconds, powered by a twin turbocharged V12 putting out 563 horsepower. The base price sits around $400,000. 2 Rolls-Royces in one garage. Different colors, different energy, same level of taste. That's not a coincidence. That's a collector's eye developing. The Lamborghini Urus. Speed meets statement. The Lamborghini Urus. What happens when Lamborghini decides to build an SUV? a 4.0-liter twin-turbocharged V8, 657 horsepower, 0 to 60 in around 3.5 seconds. As an SUV, that's faster than most sports cars. Glock's Urus has butterfly doors added, a custom modification that turns the head of every single person in any parking lot he pulls into. And it's been updated with mystic chrome and gold wheels, so it started yellow, got elevated, got the butterfly doors, got the chrome flip. This car has gone through a whole evolution matching wherever Glock was in his career. That's not random. That's a man treating his cars the way he treats his music, constantly leveling them up. The McLaren 720S, the spaceship. Now we're getting into weapon territory. The McLaren 720S, Glock himself calls this one the spaceship. And fam, he's not wrong. The 720S is one of the most technically advanced supercars ever built. A 4.0-liter twin-turbocharged V8 producing 710 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 2.7 seconds, top speed of 212 miles per hour. The aerodynamics on this car are derived from Formula One engineering, and Glock's 720S features mystic chrome paint with a full purple leather interior, purple inside, chrome outside, color-shifting paint that looks completely different depending on the lighting, green, purple, gold, blue, all from the same finish depending on the angle. This is not a car, this is a spaceship, and he's parking it next to a Rolls-Royce. The McLaren 650S Spider, yellow era staple, 2 McLarens, because why stop at one? The 650S Spider is the original McLaren in the collection, a staple from his yellow era, 3.8-liter twin-turbocharged V8, 641 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds, dihedral doors that swing up instead of out. This car is from the yellow chapter. It represents the version of Glock that was building the brand from scratch. Now it sits in the garage next to the 720S, the before and after, both in the same collection. The Ferrari Puro Sangue, the new money statement. Here's where it gets crazy. Key Glock now owns a Ferrari Puro Sang in yellow. The Puro Sang is Ferrari's first ever 4-door, 4-seat vehicle, and the automotive world lost its mind when it dropped. A naturally aspirated 6.5-liter V12 engine producing 715 horsepower. This is Ferrari saying, we will build a Ferrari for people who need 4 doors, and it will still be the most exciting car in any room. The base price sits around $400,000, and Glock's is yellow. Of course it is. Adding a Ferrari to the collection is a different kind of signal. It says he's not just buying what other Memphis rappers buy. He's buying into the upper tier of global supercar culture. The Puro Sangue is a car that old money buys. The fact that Glock has one at his age coming from where he came from, that's one of the most dramatic lines in this whole story. The Dodge SRT Demon, the most dangerous car in the collection. The Dodge SRT Demon, now finished in mystic chrome. This car is genuinely dangerous, fam. Not in a figurative way, in a literal way. The Dodge SRT Demon was so fast when it released that the National Hot Rod Association banned it from their drag strips. It ran a 0 to 60 of 2.3 seconds on a prepped surface. It came with a Demon Crate box of parts, including a spare key for passengers to opt out of riding. The base version shipped without a passenger seat. Dodge literally removed it because they were worried about liability. Horsepower figures are in the 808 to 840 range depending on the fuel you feed it. Now imagine all of that wrapped in mystic chrome rolling through South Memphis. That's an event. That's not a car. That's a statement. The Dodge Durango SRT Hellcat, the Memphis Special. The Dodge Durango SRT Hellcat, a 3-row American muscle SUV powered by a supercharged 6.2-liter Hemi Phi 8 producing 710 horsepower, 710 in a family SUV that seats 7 people, now finished in mystic chrome. This thing is absurd and beautiful. It's loud, it's aggressive, it's over the top, and it sits in Key Glock's garage alongside a Ferrari and 2 Rolls Royces. That range right there, that's Memphis. You can appreciate a Cullinan and rep American muscle because both are built on the same idea. Power, respect, doing it bigger than the next man. The 1996 Chevy Impala SS, the centerpiece. Here is where I need y'all to stop and pay full attention, because this is the car that tells you the most about who Key Glock really is. The 1996 Chevrolet Impala SS, often called the centerpiece of his entire collection. Custom mystic chrome finish, 24-inch IROC rims, a classic American muscle car from the mid-90s. The kind of car that your uncles talk about, the kind of car with deep roots in Southern car culture, Memphis car culture specifically. frankly. This car doesn't cost what a Ferrari costs, it doesn't go as fast as the McLaren, it doesn't carry the prestige of the Rolls-Royce, but it is sitting right next to all of them. That is Key Glock telling you exactly where he's from and making sure he never forgets it. No matter how many supercars end up in the garage, the 96 Impala on IROC rims stays. That's the soul of the collection. The Corvette C8 Stingray, white with red interior. The C8 generation Corvette moved to a mid-engine layout for the first time in Corvette history, making it genuinely world-class, Ferrari competitive at a fraction of the price. Glock's C8 is the convertible, in white with a red interior, which is notable. White, not yellow. The collection has range now. Sub 3 seconds 0 to 60, 6.2-liter V8, mid-engine layout. It's the most approachable supercar in the fleet price-wise, but the spec, white over red, convertible, is a showstopper anywhere it goes. The Mercedes-Maybach S600, yellow sedan on Forgiatos. The Mercedes-Maybach S600, a customized yellow sedan sitting on 22-inch Forgiato wheels. Ultra-premium Mercedes sub-brand powered by a 6.0-liter V12 engine producing 530 horsepower. At around $200,000, this is Glock's idea of a quiet, understated vehicle. In his garage, next to a Demon and a Ferrari, this is practically sensible. But pull it out into the real world, and 22-inch Forgiatos on a yellow Maybach sedan is still one of the most eye-catching things on any street in America. The Mercedes-Maybach GLS 600, the SUV Maybach. The GLS 600 is the SUV version, a 4.0-liter biturbo V8, 557 horsepower, 0 to 100 in 4.9 seconds, part of his high-end yellow luxury rotation. Think of this as his most comfortable cruiser, the one you take when you want to feel like you're floating. The GLS 600 interior is the definition of cocoon-level luxury. This is what you're in when you need to move through a city and feel nothing but silk and silence at 70 miles per hour. The Mercedes-Maybach SL 680, the Roadster. 3 Maybachs. 3. The SL680 is a two-seater roadster, one of the rarest and most exclusive vehicles in the entire Mercedes lineup. A V12 engine, 621 horsepower, and the kind of exclusivity where you rarely see one in person. This is the most recent Maybach addition to the fleet, and it represents Glock deepening his relationship with the brand rather than just collecting trophies. 1 Maybach is a flex. 2 Maybachs is a commitment. 3 Maybachs is a whole lifestyle. The Mercedes-AMG GLE 63, the reliable favorite. An older, reliable favorite in the yellow fleet, the AMG GLE 63, over 600 horsepower in a performance SUV. In the context of this garage, it's practically the utility vehicle. It's what you drive when you don't want to think too hard about where you're parking. The fact that it's described as a reliable favorite tells you something. This isn't the car he bought to impress anyone. This is the car he keeps because he genuinely likes driving it. There's something real about that. The Dodge Ram 1500 TRX, the truck, the Dodge Ram 1500 TRX, finished in Mystic Chrome. Dodge's answer to the question, what if we put a Hellcat engine in a pickup truck? 702 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. In a full-size pickup, it can tow, it can haul, it can also embarrass most sports cars off a red light. This is the working truck in the collection, except the work it does is making other trucks feel inadequate. The Tesla Cybertruck, the wild card. And finally, the Tesla Cybertruck, custom bright yellow. Key Glock pulled up to his ATL birthday bash in this thing and the internet went completely sideways. The Cybertruck's stainless steel body is one of the hardest surfaces in the world to wrap. Glock got it done in yellow anyway, and he used it in his music video for The Greatest. The car became content, it became branding, it became a whole campaign, all in one vehicle. Here's what really happened, and this is what most people miss when they talk about Glock's cars. The fleet isn't just about flexing. The yellow was a narrative. When Key Glock named his debut album Yellow Tape and explained that yellow tape means something is about to happen, something is going on. Pay attention. He wasn't just naming an album, he was announcing who he was. And then he backed it up by making every single thing around him yellow. The cars, the clothes, the aesthetic. He matched his jacket to his Cullinan. He coordinated his shoes to his Forgiato wheels. He wore the North Face X Gucci blue Union suit to provide contrast against the yellow, because even the contrast was intentional. This is not accidental. This is a man who thought about branding the way a major label thinks about an artist's rollout. Every time he posted a photo with a yellow car, he was reinforcing the same message. The color became inseparable from the artist. But then, here's where it gets crazy. As of late 2024, moving into 2025, Key Glock started transitioning the collection. Car by car, he began switching his fleet from yellow into Mystic Chrome. A flip-flop, chameleon, color-shifting paint that appears completely different depending on the light. It looks purple, then green, then gold, then blue, all from the same finish. The Urus got it. The Demon got it. The Durango got it. The TRX got it. The Impala got it. He was documented on social media, switching his whole car collection over to this new aesthetic, and the internet went up all over again. Think about what that means from a branding standpoint. Yellow was his identity. He built it for years, and then he evolved it. Not abandoned it, evolved it. He still has yellow cars in the collection. The Cullinan is still yellow. The Ferrari is yellow. The Cybertruck is yellow. But now he's added a whole second aesthetic layer that says, I'm not done changing. I'm not done growing. I'm not done surprising you. That's not just a car decision. That's an artistic statement. Yellow Tape was chapter 1. Mystic Chrome might be what chapter 2 looks like. Yellow Tape went gold. Yellow Tape 2 peaked at number 7 on the Billboard 200. Ambition for Cash went multi-platinum. In 2023, Let's Go hit the Billboard Hot 100. And then a remix featuring the late Young Dolph's vocals pushed it to number 59. The music and the cars are telling the same story. A man who started with one color and one sound and keeps expanding both without losing where he came from. Let me connect some dots for y'all because the numbers in this collection are worth sitting with. The Rolls-Royce Cullinan with customization. Conservatively $380,000 to $400,000. The Rolls-Royce Dawn, approximately $380,000 to $400,000. The Ferrari Purosangue, approximately $400,000 to $450,000. The McLaren 7.2 OS with Mystic Chrome, approximately $300,000 to $350,000. The McLaren 6.5 OS Spider, approximately $150,000 to $200,000. The Lamborghini Urus with butterfly doors and custom chrome, approximately $280,000 to $320,000. The Mercedes Maybach SL 680, approximately $250,000 to $300,000. The Mercedes Maybach S600 on 22-inch Forjados, approximately $200,000 to $220,000. The Mercedes Maybach GLS 600, approximately $200,000. The Mercedes AMG GLE 63, approximately $130,000 to $140,000. The Dodge SRT Demon in Mystic Chrome, approximately $100,000 to $120,000 with custom work. The Dodge Durango SRT Hellcat, approximately $80,000 to $90,000. The Dodge Ram 1500 TRX, approximately $90,000 to $100,000. The Corvette C8 Stingray Convertible, approximately $70,000 to $80,000. The Tesla Cybertruck with custom yellow wrap, approximately $80,000 to $100,000. The 1996 Chevy Impala SS with Mystic Chrome and 24-inch IROC rims, approximately $40,000 to $80,000. The Mercedes SL 550 gifted by Young Dolph, approximately $60,000 to $80,000. Add the Forgiato custom wheels across multiple cars. A set of Forgiatos runs anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 per set. The Mystic Chrome wrap itself isn't cheap either. A high-quality color shift wrap on a large vehicle runs $10,000 to $20,000 per car, and he's done multiple. Add custom butterfly door kits, interior modifications, and the ongoing maintenance on 17 exotics, and you're looking at an additional $200,000 to $400,000 in custom work on top of purchase prices. Conservative total for the full fleet? Between $4 million and $5 million. The verified estimate as of early 2026. And remember, his earlier 8-car fleet was valued at roughly $1.8 million. He has more than doubled the collection and more than doubled its value. This isn't a guy who bought some cars and stopped. This is a guy who is actively, continuously building something. And think about how he deployed this fleet for the culture. Paper Route Empire announced the Love for the Streets car show Let's Go edition, hosted by Key Glock and DJ Envy, featuring the cars belonging to Young Dolph, Key Glock, and DJ Envy, open to car enthusiasts from across the city. The event was rescheduled to May 25th, 2025, and they were giving away a brand new Tesla Model Y, custom painted in Glock yellow as a prize. He took his private fleet and turned it into a community event. He brought Memphis out to see what Paper Route Empire built. That's not just a flex, that's a legacy move. That's making sure the culture around you benefits from your elevation. When the full fleet started circulating online, the videos, the photos, the posts of car after car after car, all yellow, the internet genuinely lost its mind, no cap. You had car culture channels going crazy over the Cullinan and the McLaren. You had hip-hop blogs going crazy over the total value. You had Memphis people going crazy with pure pride because one of their own was living like this at 26, 27 years old. The TikTok videos of the yellow Cybertruck got tens of thousands of likes within hours. The Forgiato Instagram posts of the Cullinan got shared everywhere. But here's what was different about the reaction to Glock's collection compared to other rapper car content. People weren't just talking about the money, they were talking about the consistency. Comments were like, bro, really committed to the yellow thing, and this is actually genius branding. Car people, who typically look down on rappers buying supercars as posers, were acknowledging that the Forgiato Cullinan was done tastefully. Hip-hop fans were connecting the cars back to the albums. Even people who didn't know who Key Glock was started learning about him through the car content. And think about the specific moment the Cybertruck content dropped. That car hit the internet at his birthday bash in Atlanta, and the comment sections were on fire. People who were debating whether the Cybertruck was even a good car, that whole discourse was happening everywhere at the time, suddenly got reframed by a man pulling up to his own party in one wrapped head to toe in Glock yellow. He didn't just buy the car, he made it a moment. He made it an event. That's the difference between someone who has money and someone who knows how to use having money. And the 19,000 plus likes on that TikTok alone proved the internet agreed. Then the Mystic Chrome era dropped, and the internet had to reset all over again. Videos of the Urus getting its new finish, the Demon rolling out in chrome flip paint, the Impala looking like it came from another dimension. People who thought they had the Key Glock equals yellow cars narrative locked suddenly realized the story had a whole second act. Comments were going, he's not who I thought he was, and this is actually more dangerous than the yellow era. When a celebrity can surprise their own fan base with a rebrand that feels more like them, not less, that's mastery. That's what Glock did with the Chrome transition. That's when you know a collection is doing its job. It's not just sitting there looking expensive, it's working, it's marketing, it's storytelling, it's introduction content for people who haven't heard the music yet. You see the yellow Cullinan, you find out who it belongs to, you look him up, you hear Ambition for Cash, and you become a fan. That's the pipeline.